What situation is introvert's nightmare? Networking events edit. Wow y'all, thanks for all the upvotes, replies and awards. Didn't expect this, but good to know I haven't suffered alone here. The groups that form where you either have to find a way into the conversation or awkwardly stand outside the circle. I've noticed a weird phenomenon where, when I'm sitting at a table full of people with multiple conversations going on, I'm somehow always at the boundary between two conversations. So I'm stuck straining to hear everyone, and it's even harder because there is an unrelated conversation going on in my opposite ear. That reminds me of a time where I was at a conference where everyone is doing the circle thing and I was chatting with some people about some interesting, but pretty dry, industry topics. All of a sudden I hear someone in another conversation circle say something along the lines of, "Yeah man, gorillas will rip your head off." All of a sudden, I can't concentrate on my current conversation and my brain tunes into the gorilla conversation instead. I could not for the life of me tune back into my main conversation. Being picked out of the crowd at an assembly, concert, magic show, etc. People who just raise their hand to be chosen are true heroes. I do this during company all-hands type of meetings. Stick my hand up to ask a question or do something that is being asked at the first chance I get. Then sit back and relax knowing I won't be called on for any bullshit later. Did this in college. I would always volunteer to present first. No matter how bad I fucked up or flubbed, I never got below a C because I went first, and a lot of the time it is a huge advantage to go closer to the end. Most professors are fair and know that students presenting in the last section 4 weeks after the first section are just going to be better. So they curve my first presentation to match as if I had those extra days or weeks to prepare. Here's the secret. I wasn't going to use that extra time to prepare. I was always going to do it in 2 days. Just by going first, I really only had a week or whatever to prepare. Let's all introduce ourselves. Your social butterfly friend begs you to go to a party with him. You go there and he wanders off to talk to literally everyone there while you follow him like a puppy. Just a couple weeks ago, I was vacationing in Colorado and found out that a good friend of mine was in Pueblo, so I drove down to meet him. My thought was we'd go grab a burger somewhere, but he said instead to meet him at the home of a friend of his. He'd show up within half an hour, who I had never met, and we'd drive out to a campground to hang out with a couple of his friends' college friends, who he had never met. I wanted to say, dude, you've known me for like 25 years. Does any of that seem like something I'd be comfortable with? It all turned out fine of course, but it was very stressful for me. We used to do that sort of thing all the time though, and I was somewhat less uncomfortable with it then. But now I'm 40 and socializing just keeps getting harder and harder. I'm sweating reading this lol. I was going to say, the more the merrier type of people give me so much anxiety. If I make plans with you and you show up with someone else, all def short circuit lol. Teacher. Everyone find a partner. Picking teams. Guess who's picked last with everyone staring. One time my teacher made me pick a team once. Maybe she thought she was being fair and giving people a chance. I nearly cried. The sudden anxiety of having 20 kids stare at you while you wait to say a name, the look when you do, cause they didn't want to be on your team. I know I suck. I don't care. Pick me last if you want. Just never ever ever ask me to pick anything. As a child my worst nightmare was when my parents got visitors and I'm stuck upstairs hungry and thirsty because I can't access the kitchen. This reminds me of a story that I probably should use a throwaway to share, but fuck it. I was painfully shy as a kid and dealt with social anxiety throughout my youth. The social anxiety is basically gone now that I'm in my 30s, but definitely still an introvert. When I was around 8 or 9 I had a sleepover at a friend's house. When I woke up in the morning, my friend wasn't in the room. He was out in the living room with his parents and some other adults they had over. I could hear them all chatting. I had to pee so bad, but couldn't get myself to wander out of the room and walk through the living room to the nearest bathroom, so I just ended up peeing right in the middle of his room. When his mom finally came to the room, I blamed it on the cat. In retrospect, there is no way a cat would have produced that much urine, and it would have been incredibly out of character for the cat to not use his litter box. But his mom went along with it and was just like, wow, this is a lot for the cat, he must have been trapped in the room, etc. She was just being sweet and didn't want me to feel bad, or weird. I believed that she fell for the lie at the time. Then one day when the story popped into my head randomly, I realized there was zero chance that sweet mom believed the cat did it. This story is so similar to something that happened to me that I'm completely convinced that you and I are the same person. Being forced into public speaking last moment. Surprised this isn't on top. The other complaints aren't even in the same league. Icebreakers, introductions? Please, that's just basic. Hi, I'm, name. I like crossword puzzles, done. You don't care. You know the other participants don't care, it's just the trainer following a script. At most it's mildly annoying. This shit is the real deal. Someone does that to me, forget any goodwill they might have garnered before this. Why the fuck would you not make sure a public speaker is prepared for the goddamn event? I'd seriously be inclined to bail and let the person who tried dragging me up to speak handle the fallout. They don't get to put that evil on me. Here's mine. Meeting a coworker that you don't know very well on the train, locking eyes and having to engage in conversation for the next 30 to 40 minutes. All you want to do is read your book, but there's no way out and you decide to put up a brave front. They're not thrilled to see you because you already have a reputation for being kind of weird. The more you talk, the weirder they think you are. You can see it in their eyes. Already you can hear the office gossip in your head. Oh my god, guess who I was stuck on the train with? Nightmare fuel. Work from home was a blessing in this regard. Chat for 2 minutes and then, great to see you, I'm going to get back to my book. I was in line for a movie back in the late 90s, with my girlfriend. We saw a couple friends in line and we were all chatting. An older coworker of mine is also in line and sees me. She comes over, chats for a while and then says, I'm going to go back now, I don't want to be that person that just talks non-stop. She paused for a moment or two, then proceeded to talk non-stop. Phone calls. Receiving and twice as bad having to make one. Or having to leave a voicemail. I forget how to form a coherent sentence. Hi. This is person. Calling about reason, I guess. Call me back. This is person. My number is numbers. Why are you being so quiet? I don't speak unless I can contribute to the conversation. OMG yes. A lot of my family are extroverts and when they ask this usually my response. When I was a moody teen saying, I'm not interesting enough for people to care, does sound a little depressing. When I can't get a word in edgewise they wonder why I don't speak. After parties. You mean there's more stuff to do after the stuff we planned on doing? I only have so much energy to deal with people and it was already used up. I think this is the best answer so far. Introverted doesn't mean you can't talk to people or be social, it just drains your tank faster. A lot of these comments are more just social anxiety answers which not all introverts have. There are plenty of introverts who work with people and strangers and do just fine at a lot of the things that people are saying are worst nightmares. Exactly. Social anxiety does not equal introversion, and vice versa. That's not loud enough, I said, good morning team. Ah, come on, you can do better than that. I said, good morning, team. Asterisk I hate you. It's 8 a.m. and I just sat in 45 minutes of traffic. There's nothing good about this morning. Unexpected phone calls. I never answer my phone if I don't know who you are. My family and friends know to text me if they want a fast response. If you're calling me, it's probably about my car's extended warranty. If it's important, they will leave a message. I have to answer unknown numbers because all my dad's doctors hide their numbers when they call. It's annoying. So calls from unknown number are either 1, all about my car's extended warranty, 2, other bullshit, or 3, hey, your dad has something new wrong with him, what do you want us to do about it? Last week I also got the joy of, your child's school was put on lockdown because someone threatened to bring a gun. We're looking for the individual but they haven't been caught yet. Have a nice day. So yeah, unknown numbers are either irritating or anxiety inducing, but I still answer the damn things. People randomly showing up to hang out at your own place. Oh liquor, how the dwarves just swarm into Baggins's house? Nightmare indeed. That scene is an introvert's worst nightmare. Having to try and find a balance between being polite and the sheer panic of what the fuck are you doing in my house? What the fuck are you doing to my house? Get the fuck out of my house. Asterisk is pretty spot on. Also, when they are at your house, you can't go home and escape them. If they had stayed for a whole week, that might equate to my version of hell. Public marriage proposal which they want to turn down. Public marriage proposal in general. A total surprise party for me at my place with everyone and their significant other, so I'm essentially the 49th wheel at my own party. Kill me now. Edit. I exaggerated the number, but I have been a 9th wheel at a couple's party. I did not know it was going to be all couples, but glad to know this is so relatable. The surprise party thing leaves me so torn. On the one hand, people like and think about me enough to throw me a party? Gee, thanks, guys. On the other hand, I do not want to be the center of attention, ever. I am going to stifle this panic attack, put on a smile to say thank you, and then hide somewhere. School presentations. Group projects were the worst. I don't know about the rest of you introverts, but I was usually the one that did most of the work and the one that actually had to do the majority of the presenting. Like they knew of my introverted awkwardness and took advantage of it. I've gotten much better now, but I hated that. Dude, I relate to this so much. Last year in my world history class, we did a presentation about different parts of the globe, Europe, Africa, India, and main events they have endured. Basically, I grouped up with 3 people who knew I was an introvert and used it to just talk, and I did the work. I eventually just told my teacher, fuck this if they aren't helping like you said they should. Then tell them to do something productive. Like I mean literally they never did anything and deadass went to separate tables to chat with some other dudes. Remember, introversion does not equal social anxiety. While the two can of course mix, introverts are people who charge their batteries when they're alone and have me time, and get drained faster when in a group of people. You can be a social introvert. I think what people in the comments are assuming is that introverts are people who hate social interaction or public events. That's not necessarily true. 100% this. I like parties and social gatherings. I don't mind public speaking or group events. I do get exhausted and I want to curl up in a ball on the couch for a day after and decompress. So for me, I think my nightmare would be being on one of those reality shows where I'm filmed 24/7 and constantly engaging with other contestants. Icebreakers. Who's up for 2 truths and a lie? Thinks. Can they all be lies? No. What are the most boring truths I can think of so no one comes up to talk to me after this? 1. This morning I woke up right before my alarm and didn't have to hear it. 2. I don't prefer sugar in my coffee, but will drink it if necessary. 3. I don't always follow the suggested serving size on products. Have fun. The ad hoc talent show with coworkers. As someone who's maybe not a full introvert but has a limit on my extrovertedness, this happened to me and I basically said, no thanks. This is it. This is the worst one.